We're back on Morning Trade Live. Oracle has been in the spotlight this week at the company's AI World event in Las Vegas. Management met with analysts yesterday and set fiscal 2030 targets for earnings and revenue. And shares are up more than 75% in 2025. And that is the focus of Morning Trade. Joining us now for a closer look is a Schwab Network host, my co-host, Marley Kayden. Happy Friday to you, Marley. Look, we've had analysts walking away from this event looking pretty positive, just a shopping list of price target boosts, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it shields it from short-term pressure down. The stock is lower, even despite the more sort of bullish views. So why is that?
It's a very interesting observation, Sam, and good morning to you. Yeah, shares under pressure today, down more than 6.5% off of what you could argue is a very strong performance at AI World. Really positive sentiment coming out of it. Lots of price target increases. As I was prepping for our conversation, I mean, just too many for us to even talk about. So I'll sort of give you the broad overview and some of the new numbers. There are no new street high targets here. Citi still has the street high target of 415. But several companies raising theirs to $400. TD Cowen, one of them, up $400 after that Analyst Day, saying the guidance they gave highly encouraging, raising their OCI forecast and providing those estimates that came in well above street estimates for fiscal year 30. That seems to be the overarching theme sort of generally across the board. Lots of maintained buy or buy equivalent ratings. Guggenheim also raising their price target up to 400. They're saying they're keeping a buy rating as well. They said, quote, they came out of the Financial Analyst Day even more encouraged than before about this being a decade stock. They said that they see revenue acceleration over the next few years led by AI training deals that are, quote, comfortably profitable today and are likely to be more so over time. So a lot of optimism just generally expressed. Barclays also raising their target to $400. I do want to walk through one interesting thing in Bank of America's note. Their price target was unchanged, had a buy rating, an unchanged price target of $368. So not a street high, but above the average of $336. Now, they said after having attended the Analyst Day that they were impressed by the impressive targets for fiscal year 30, like most of the notes mentioned. But they said the margin associated with the EPS target is what they say appears achievable. But what is less clear is how Oracle can stand up data centers fast enough to achieve the top line growth given supply constraints across land, building, energy, and GPUs. Then they go on to say, however, the firm believes that Oracle is well positioned to continue capturing share of the large and growing AI infrastructure industry. So I think, Sam, as we're speculating over what some of this downside movement could be, that may be a concern. Certainly one we've had other guests on our shows talk about is how fast can we really achieve this data center build out in terms of top line growth, given that there are other factors at play here that are out of Oracle's hands.
Yeah, it's really interesting, isn't it? Because among all the analyst reports that you're seeing coming in, I mean, a lot of the commentary, if I hit Control F on the word encouraged, I mean, it shows up multiple times. The analysts walking away from the event feeling very, very positive. It does sort of feel like the only but in that, as you mentioned, does come from the Bank of America there with that sort of caveat. And it's interesting, isn't it? Because just a couple of weeks ago, we were talking about that information report, which had sort of sent jitters through the entire sort of AI space about these razor-thin margins, and that had sort of brought into question, this whole circular financing conversation, the AI bubble narrative, whether that was set to pop, etc. And then, some are also talking about whether we've sort of hit a capex boom sort of peak now, and no doubt we'll start to see that in the next several earnings report. I'm just wondering, what also sort of stands out to you from what the analysts are saying, given the reaction in the stock today and also the run-up that we've seen recently, particularly this year, and particularly off the back of that last earnings report.
Yes, one note I went looking for when I found out we were talking about Oracle was something from Rothschild and Redburn, because I'm sure you remember their sell rating and their street low $175 price target. So considerably below the average, more than $120 lower than where we're currently trading, and no adjustment yet in the wake of this Analyst Day. So that was one thing that stuck out to me. I expected to see them somewhere in this shopping list of notes, and they are not here yet.
Yeah, it's certainly interesting, isn't it? But look, as far as the price targets, significantly raised, now ranging from 331 to 400. More firms have buy and equivalent ratings of overweight and outperform now on this name. Thank you so much, Marley, for getting us across all of that.